welcome to Creatively Random. If it's your first time, we are so grateful to have you. And if you're back, welcome back. You already know how it goes. Today we're talking about Starfield, the iPhone 15, and Disney. And then we get into patch notes like usual. But before we go anywhere, any further, we have someone to introduce. She's been a staple of the podcast previously, but we've never seen her and heard her technically. But we'd like to introduce our producer / very first ever guest, Teshy.
Hello.
Teshy, welcome.
Thanks.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Teshy, and that's about it.
Awesome. Great. Do you have any disclaimers for being on this episode? Anything you want to mention?
Oh, yeah, bro. Okay, so I just came. So as you know, Michael and I are getting married next year.
Woo.
So I'm doing all my trials and tests now to make sure that I'm less stressed, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
I've just come from getting my eyebrows laminated and my lash lift. So this isn't how my face looks normally. So I just want to disclaim that. My eyebrows look a lot crazier than they actually are.
Good to know.
I just feel like they look really wonky too. But you know what? We're moving on.
It's okay.
Moving on.
We're not focusing on your eyebrows. It's all good.
Thanks.
But are you going to go back to that lady? You think you're going to use it for the wedding?
Yeah, she was really nice. She was like, I was telling Mike, she had a really thick Irish accent. And I don't know, it just comforted me in some sort of way. So I enjoyed
the
it.
Irish are well known for their eyebrows.
I'll start using that accent. Maybe that's how it can comfort you.
Can you
Yeah,
do an
honestly.
Irish accent? Not
Okay. I'll work on it. I got a few months.
Not a camera. Okay, good. Well, it's so good to have you, Teshy, finally on camera and on a mic. Teshy's good. Teshy's like our window to the rest of the world.
To the real world,
Like,
to bring you back to
the
reality.
non-nerds. Let's get into our first topic. Michael, have you heard much about Starfield? Have you looked into it a lot?
A little bit. Yeah, early on, but not so much recently. I don't know if there's more info that's come out. But
Yep.
I'm sure you have.
Have you seen the Starfield Direct, the like 45-minute
Yes. Yeah.
showcase that Bethesda did of it and all of its features and stuff?
Mm.
Okay, so I want to talk about it. I want to talk about, maybe we should preface what it is because maybe not everybody knows. This is a bit of a more niche topic. Teshy, our window into the people, is shaking her head. She has no idea. Do you have any idea what Starfield is?
At first, I thought you were referring to Star Trek.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. No, so Starfield is a game for Xbox and PC. It's coming out in September this year. So by the time that the next episode of Creative Random comes out, it had been out for about a week. So I want to talk about today because we'll miss the opportunity to talk about it before it comes out otherwise. So it's a game, and it's essentially made by this company called Bethesda, who has been around for ages, but they haven't released a new IP, like a new universe of games in 25 years. And even the last game that they released was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That was Fallout 4. And I love Bethesda games. Like, I don't know how you feel. I played
enjoy them quite a
Skyrim
bit.
like maybe 100 times.
Yeah,
like,
I
no
think I've
joke,
got
actually.
Hundreds of hours in Skyrim.
And I don't mind Fallout. I'd prefer the Elder Scrolls over Fallout,
Yes.
in my opinion. But Starfield kind of combines these two loves of mine, which is space and Bethesda, and this like open world RPG kind of role playing game.
And somewhat fantasy elements.
Yeah.
That I feel like, I suppose Fallout has that, but it's very grounded, I guess.
Yeah, so like Elder Scrolls has magic and, you know, like, and Fallout 4 is very grounded. And this is a bit more like whimsical because it's kind of a thing that Fallout 4 seems realistic almost, like it could happen eventually. And this does, but it's also like retro, so it feels like an alternate kind of universe. And that's what I want to talk about is in the Direct, they talk about the styling of Starfield as NASA punk. Like that's their design aesthetic is NASA punk. And I wanted to talk about it because they apparently worked with NASA to like relive kind of like the 50s and 60s of space travel in NASA's history and kind of generate assets based on that. Because instead of making it like really pristine and clean and everything's like futuristic in space, it's very like lived in almost, the world, like grungy but space themed. And I love it. I don't know. I'm keen. I'm really keen to play it, but I'm just keen to like get all the artists' work into my eyeballs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm looking forward to the design of it. As much as I want to play it and play the new, like you said, IP, I do just want to get lost in the world that is sci-fi with this like punk aspect where it's not super clean cut, it's not super futuristic. I don't know what film you'd reference or like align it with. But
Yeah, well, I was reading an article today because someone asked. I read a Reddit article that was like, this guy said, if for the people that don't understand what NASA punk is or like the design aesthetic of Starfield, go and watch Futurama, because there's an episode in Futurama where have you watched Futurama before?
yes.
Yes. There's that's fine. There's an episode of Futurama. One of the characters. So the whole concept is one of the characters is from current day Earth, and then the rest of the characters, he gets like transported through time, and he ends up in the future, in like the future Earth. And the whole concept of this Reddit post that this guy wrote was that in one of the episodes, Fry, who's the character that is an old Earth person that is now in the future, he talks about how the moon is like this amazing step for humanity, like going to space and getting to the moon. At this point in the future, though, they like travel around planets all the time, and like the moon's like nothing. It's like a rock. No one would ever go to the moon. It's like crap. But it's amazing to him. And this guy was saying that like that concept of bringing back the nostalgia of like how amazing space travel is, because now we're in this realm of like Richard Branson and Amazon guy. What's his name? Jeff Bezos are just like sinking billions of dollars into rocket ships to go up and look at the moon. We're in this kind of like, it's almost, you know, like overly obsessed space kind of like, it's just too
Very
accessible
commercial.
now. It's like not,
Very commercial.
yeah, it's like kind of getting commercialized. So it's like this callback or hearkening back to like true original space travel and the nostalgia of people going there and like feeling like you're too small to be in the bigness of space.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really like space as well
same.
as a separate concept, even to gaming and to design. So it's kind of like this melding of like lots of my interests.
You'd
together.
both love it, aren't you both? Didn't you connect over Michael's NASA jumper when you first met?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I think I complimented you on your NASA jumper.
yeah,
It was the first time we met
Yeah.
on a Zoom call.
Yeah, exactly. I remember. I've still got it. It's in the drawers.
Good. I still haven't seen your NASA book,
Yeah,
but
I
one
do need to
day
bring that.
we'll get there.
We'll
We'll
just have
get
to
there.
catch up, and then we'll like
Yeah.
maybe film that.
Just be friends outside of.
Well, we are friends. We do talk outside of the
I know.
podcast. The other cool thing I wanted to talk about the game, and then we'll move on because I know not everyone's interested in the game. First of all, the game has been like, it's a kind of a hot topic at the moment in the gaming industry, is because it was meant to come out like 12 months ago when it was originally talked about. And Bethesda does this thing where they like, Todd Howard, who's the director of Bethesda, like the creative director, he has this thing where he doesn't like working on small projects. He works on big projects and it takes ages, but then when they come out, they're amazing. Well, most of the time. And Bethesda is like kind of a meme for like having bugs and stuff in their games and blah, 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 blah. But they're always pretty good. Like even Fallout 4, which had heaps of bugs in it, was still an incredible game. And the amount of detail that got into them. But they did this thing. There's like 1,000 planets, 1,000+ planets in this game that you can travel to and explore. They're all like procedurally generated. Well, not all of them. Some of them are procedurally generated.
Yeah.
So it means that like the atmosphere on them, the distance from the sun, all that stuff is mathematically calculated.
Yeah, wow.
And they've used data from NASA, from what they know about some of the planets that do actually exist, to like create these mathematical systems that then like determine the atmosphere. Anyway, it's way too nerdy for this podcast.
That's cool though. That's
But
very cool.
I'm super keen to like just experience all the work that's gone into it. 'Cause it's been a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Long time
I'm looking
coming.
forward to it. I'm sure if I can get it, Teshy will love to leave me be for a few hours while I just like sink into this game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we'll have to catch up, I'm sure, once it
Yeah,
comes out as well.
maybe we can do like a first look when it comes out.
Maybe make
Oh, you
that an
guys can
episode.
play it together.
Maybe
That's so
make it an
cute.
episode on the podcast somehow.
I think the whole episode of that podcast would just be character creation,
Yeah,
but
geeking out
based
over
on
what you
how
can do.
like long the character. You can do everything, Teshy. Like the change in the like jawbone
Cheekbone.
area and like I could recreate you in Starfield and play with you as a character, which sounds weird. So
that's like in The Office where it was Dwight's world, but was it? And he created his own Dwight, and then Jim created his own Jim, and Pam was like, "That looks a lot like you." No,
I don't think I missed that episode.
when it was, and he was really depressed, and he was like, he made himself assistant to the regional manager in like Dwight's world, and Pam was like, "That's so sad. He's still like assistant to the regional manager in his own world that he can create."
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah, it's 100% like that. Yeah. But you can do things in that, like in Starfield, you can do things like, not be assistant to the regional manager.
I would do that. That's what I would do in Starfield.
But you can do like jobs and roles. Like you can be like a pirate, like a space pirate, or you can be like a delivery man and deliver packages around space. A delivery man
in space.
Yeah, you can board ships in space. You can be like a pirate and just steal ships and.
I'm not saying that's what you'd want to do, but I'm saying you can do it because it's a role-playing game. You can escape your reality. Yeah. Maybe
you
have a job really want to be a delivery man.
My life.
No offense to Ozpost. If you want to sponsor the podcast, you're more than welcome to.
Please do.
I actually need it. So thanks. I need that.
Yeah, you should be very grateful for Ozpost. Actually,
so
she didn't really plug herself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Let's just go back. Let's rewind at the end of this topic. Who are you?
You know who I am. I'm Teshy.
Yeah, but we know who you are, but you need to just tell that to the listeners.
I am Michael's fiance.
Mm-hmm.
I work in a clothing shop. What's it? I work for an Australian brand. I don't even know how to describe that. I don't want to. Do I say the name? I don't want to say the name.
So you work for a luxury fashion designer.
I work for okay, sure, a luxury fashion.
Pretty high.
I mean, it's $1,000 a dress. I think it's pretty luxury.
And I also have my own clothing business on the side where I hand make clothing, sell it on the interweb. People can wear them.
Where can they find you?
On the interweb.
What should they type in?
You can type in teshy.com.au and it'll come up. Beautiful.
Nice. And what kind of things could I buy from teshy.com.au?
Anything your heart desires, because I also have a custom range as well.
Okay.
So literally anything.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, mainly just like, I have all ranges. T-shirts, track pants, normal pants, linen. I love linen. Dresses, if you really want to dress Padraig.
I love a dress.
Yeah. Buy your wife
just
a dress.
Super comfy clothes. 100% recommend going there and looking at teshy.com.au.
That's it.
Okay, let's move on. So this one will be more akin to you. The iPhone. You got an iPhone?
Yes.
Do you like the cable that plugs into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Are they changing it again?
And that's why they haven't changed it, because most consumers don't give a rip.
Yep.
Are they
most
changing
iPhone users don't care. Yeah, they're probably changing it again. Sorry.
I just bought an iPhone cable today.
Oh, bugger.
Well,
your phone. If they're not going to take your phone and replace the port on it, it's just if you buy a new phone, then it will have a new port. And if you sell that one, sell the cable with it, because you don't need it anymore. No, it's all rumors, but September is usually when the iPhone announcement comes out of like, hey, these are the new iPhones. I think it's the 16th of September.
Yeah, I think that's when the event happens.
It's very specific.
You look very confused. Well, they've announced it. They've said, hey, we're going to talk about iPhone on the 16th of September. But the European Union made a call that by 2025, Apple's not allowed to sell iPhones in Europe unless they have USB-C port.
Oh.
So USB-C port is
the one that you plug in to like a laptop.
Your laptop
It's
would
the
charge.
other end of the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
In most cases.
My phone does. Basically every other Android phone does.
Is it USB-C?
Yeah. Yeah. All these cameras here mostly charge with USB-C. So it's way faster than Lightning, which is the port that's on your iPhone at the moment. And they legally they won't be allowed to sell phones in Europe by past 2025 without doing it.
That's really drastic.
So the rumors are that 3 of the 4 models of the new iPhones that are going to be announced will have USB-C.
Part of me wonders if they hold off one more year and do this for the end of 2024. and that's when they bring in the USB-C. Because I
True.
think
Why
Apple
wouldn't they?
was pretty
Why
much
would
like
they?
whatever. Like they didn't.
Yeah,
yes,
they didn't
of
really
course they wanna
flinch.
change. They
Yeah.
just didn't flinch at all.
No, I agree. And I think if they hadn't have moved any of their other products already to USB-C, I would be more inclined to agree.
Yeah.
And I know that their intention is to have like wireless, like no ports, like solid brick of aluminium phone, no ports, and everything's just wireless, either MagSafe on the back with the puck or like just wireless charging, whatever. But I just don't think they're going to get there by 2025, which is why I think they just have to make the decision to do it.
That's fair.
And if they do it now, at least their customers will then be used to it by the time they have to do it, rather than doing it next year and then or them all being like, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
I don't know. It's still rumors. But a discussion question I had was, do you think it's worth upgrading your iPhone every year?
I don't think every year.
I don't think
personally.
every year.
Every 2 years?
I do it every 2 years because of my
You
plan.
just like whenever your phone starts to kind of die, then you're like, okay,
I'm on a plan. So every 2 years.
24-month plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get a new phone.
Yeah.
I still think. I don't necessarily think that's enough time or enough like evolution, or for enough evolution to happen in the iPhone.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot.
Like not that much has changed though in 24 months, really.
Yeah.
I think it's just lately not much has changed apart from like camera and like software stuff. But before it was like a big jump
Yeah. of
for
course,
like
yeah.
old phones.
Yeah, old phones, like, I think we've gotten to the higher end of the spectrum now where it's like we need to make another jump in technology
Yeah.
where it's like you can have a 100 megapixel camera,
Yeah.
which you can on it. I'm pretty sure there's an Android phone that allows you to have a 100 megapixel sensor.
Yeah. I don't know which one. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but there definitely is
But
some.
like, there needs to be a jump where it's like it can be that quality, but it's small. The battery is another big thing. When
Yeah.
they can like double battery life, then it'll be a game changer.
Yeah. They
Lots of
definitely do there's no arguing that they don't get better every year,
Mm.
but the incrementalness of like how much better they get is probably not worth buying a new. Like if you got a 14 now, you probably don't have to buy a 15
No, probably not for a while.
into September when they come out. But
And the price is a big thing. It's like
what's
literally.
yours? 12.
13.
Oh, so you're almost due for one
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, you might
I'm
be
so
getting a new one,
keen.
To get a USB-C.
maybe. But yeah, like it's
Sell that
the
cable.
price too is crazy these days. I think
Yeah.
base model's like almost 1,700
Yeah.
Australian.
But it's
For
a
like a-
phone. You use it every day.
Yeah, but I remember when they were like $900.
Yeah, but you're 900 years old.
Oh, that's fair.
Wow. Shots fired over here.
That's true.
Okay, so the conclusion is, unless your plan's running out, don't buy a new
Pretty
iPhone.
much.
The other rumors are that they're going to have thinner bezels, so the gaps between the edge of the phone and the screen, the bezels will be thinner, like less screen there.
Again, I'm not one to care about that. It's at a pretty good stage.
I
where
think
it doesn't
once you
matter.
have your phone, you get used to it. You just forget the bezel there anyway.
Well,
You
it's
just
not
focus
even-
on the screen.
It's not like it's a flaw.
No,
Doesn't
that's right.
ruin the experience.
No, it's just a design
The
thing. Like,
bezel is
just means you get more screen, less phone.
I think it's a big enough screen.
That's what I mean. It's incremental. I don't think this year is going to be a massive one.
Mm.
The biggest thing will be if they change the port.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that people don't think they will is because Apple makes a lot of money off MFI, made for iPhone products. So like every time you buy a non-Apple product not every time, there's definitely some scammies out there, but most Apple products or iPhone Lightning cable products, whether they're docks or cables or whatever, like Belkin, you know, you had a Belkin?
Mhm.
Every time they make an iPhone cable, they get percentage of that sale of that cable has to go to Apple because they have to pay a commission to use Apple's port because the Lightning port is Apple's.
What?
Yeah, so that's why they've held off putting USB-C in for so long because USB-C is way better in every way. It's like it does more cycles, like you can plug it in and out more times before it breaks. It's faster. It's like data transfers more.
It's more efficient.
Yeah, everything. It's like more adaptable because more things can use it. But they have avoided doing it primarily, I think, because they make money off all the products that they sell. So, which makes sense. They're a business.
Smart, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. That's
Cool.
Apple.
Interesting.
We'll find out in a couple of weeks, I guess.
I'll hold off buying all my Apple accessories. You know what? I really want to get. Actually, no. Why am I saying that? I'm not. My phone isn't changing. I keep thinking.
Yeah, it's not going to change unless you buy a new iPhone.
I was like, oh, I can't get. You know that like the one, the SD card, and it can go into your phone.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
hold off buying that.
That is genius, though.
Unless you really need that. Wait until the 16th of September to see if they're changing the port. Because if you do get a new phone in like 3 months and it's USB-C, you have to buy another one of those.
Yeah.
What's the bet that they make a USB-C to Thunderbolt little
Yeah,
dongle?
true.
Oh,
like they did
100%
for
they're
the
going to.
Orcs.
Well, the rumor is that the mini or the very, very low end model won't have USB-C. It'll stick with Lightning for another couple of years until 2025, and they have to do it. All the top end models, which is what they did with their the iPads originally, is the iPad Pro and the iPad Air now has USB-C, but even the base model iPad still has Lightning. So I think the base model iPhone they'll keep as Lightning, and then they might put USB-C in the Pro Max and the Pro and the normal iPhone.
It's really sticking it to the European Union or whatever, being like you can't purchase a cheaper iPhone because it's the wrong port.
Which is good because all those idiots will buy iPhones anyway, and they'll just buy the expensive ones.
Do they still give, or it's not a thing anymore, where they give the cable with the phone? They don't do that anymore?
Yeah, you get the cable, but they don't give the brick anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like what you plug it into.
Okay, so people still have to... Oh, they don't have to worry about buying the cable on top. Because
No,
they
you
still
get a cable. It's just like people might have a cable in their car and a cable at their office or whatever, so they have to replace all those cables. And
So, well, that's technology. That's tech
That's
talks
technology.
for you.
That's technology. Disney films.
I'm so excited for this one.
Okay, do you want to kick it off?
Disney films, specifically the remakes and live action related ones.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about it recently and I thought it'd be good to bring it up, but just what are our thoughts and what are your thoughts on the remakes and more specifically the ones that are like grounded in the real world, based in the real world? So like Lion King, they've done Aladdin, they've done Beauty and the Beast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cinderella.
Cinderella, Little Mermaid just came out.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on those remakes?
I don't. I understand why they do it because nostalgia is a powerful drug and it gets people. But I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to take anything away from the filmmakers that are doing it necessarily and the very talented artists that work on it. But surely we can think of new stories rather than just using old ones.
Yeah.
Teshy?
Yeah, over to Teshy.
I love them. I live for them. It is my drug. That's the only drug I take.
Good to know.
That's fair.
I am obsessed with them. I think, yes, mine is definitely nostalgia based because like I would just watch those movies so much when I was younger. So then seeing them come out now, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like reaching little Teshy and like everything that she loved and all the dreams that were like built into my head and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can see a real person and this is their life. And then it makes me think like a little girl can see herself now watching these movies and she can actually envision herself. I don't know. I just think like I can see Disney and I can see that the magic that they create in their films. And I think making like the live action remakes helps to instill the magic in people's everyday lives if they can't see it in like the animated versions, because obviously like they're a lot older now. Like it's not the same if a kid would watch it now as if I would watch it and be like, oh my gosh, like I remember when this came out. Like animation has stepped up so much obviously since then, like if you compare them. So I don't know, I love them, I live for them. I'm so excited because I missed out on watching Little Mermaid in the cinema, so I'm waiting for September 6th. And the second that comes, my Disney is going to be on and
I'll
blaring.
be playing Starfield.
Yeah, I'll come play with that with you.
I'll just have my own private screening.
Little Mermaid. Well, Abby and Teshy can watch Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
That's good.
I love that.
Yeah, I think you touched on it, the nostalgia. That's definitely a big part of it because most people that saw it were a bit younger, not necessarily kids or anything, but they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came out in the 80s, 90s, whenever, even back to the 60s, and wasn't Snow White from the 60s or earlier?
1937.
There you go.
37,
lots
Snow
sooner.
White. Whoa.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's the nostalgia
Don't
play.
fact check.
Yeah, double check that. Producer, please.
I'm pretty sure because we had to learn about it. Society and culture.
Because it's genius. It's targeting A, children,
Mm-hmm.
and B, the parents of children that would have lived through it originally.
Yeah.
And it's like double the money, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very clever.
1937.
1937, there you go.
There is something to be said about the IP keepingness of it. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole aspect that IP lasts 25 years or copyright lasts 25 years before then. Is it 25 years? It was longer than that. 50 years. 70 years.
Double check.
There's a certain amount of
You don't
time.
have to double check that.
What are
You don't have to
talking- what
fact
is
check everything.
IP?
It doesn't matter the time. IP is intellectual property.
Oh, okay.
So like the story of Snow White
Mm.
lasts for X amount of years before it then enters the public domain, and then anybody can take that story and use it
And make
for
whatever
their
film they
own.
want.
So Shrek,
anything.
all of the characters in Shrek, this is a good example. Shrek itself is an original IP, but like the gingerbread man, the big bad wolf, like all of those characters in Shrek, they can use those characters because they've entered public domain.
Mm.
So
'Cause
they
were
can't
written
use
years
Disney
ago.
characters in Shrek.
They
Because
did.
Who?
They used the Disney princesses. Princess Fiona is a princess, and there was one, I can't remember what movie, but there was like Cinderella, Prince Charming.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
That's fair.
Fairy
But
godmother.
Maybe they're not.
Are they
the
parodies? I think they're like
Yeah.
parodies. So
Yeah,
maybe
they
get away
are.
with it, but
But
Well-
there's Disney princesses in Shrek.
When did
Trust me.
Cinderella come out?
yeah.
Oh, I can look that up.
Because if that's
You say 37.
actually no,
No,
wasn't
Snow
there a
White.
story
Cinderella.
of Cinderella before the movie?
They're
wasn't
like, yeah, it's
well,
an
yeah, it's like a
Hans
fairy
Christian
tale, right?
Andersen.
there? Yeah, so there you go. That's why they could use it because it's not actually Disney's IP anymore. Or never
Yeah,
was.
right.
Cinderella came out in 1950, the first animated one. Yeah, but it's based
Yeah.
on all of those.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what the IPs like run out essentially that they
Yeah.
could use Fairy Godmother and Shrek and
But they do this thing where like as long as they keep that IP updated, that never enters the public domain. So Mickey Mouse is not in the public domain, and he's an original Disney character, and they will continue to make content with Mickey Mouse in it because as soon as they stop doing that for an extended period of time, anyone can use Mickey Mouse, and then Disney's image is like gone because people start doing crazy things with Mickey Mouse legally.
legally they still do.
There's people who still do it
They get
illegally.
in trouble, but
But yeah, so there's that aspect of it too. But I think for the look, it doesn't really affect me personally. I'm glad that I watched Toy Story the other day with my son, Toy Story 1.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. Like I don't think they need to remake that. I think the movie's fine as it is.
Toy
Like,
Story is amazing.
and they haven't. Luckily, they haven't tried to remake it. We had a little joke before about how would they do that in real life.
It'd be messed
Mr.
up.
Potato Head would be messed
It
up.
would. Everyone
Yeah.
will be messed up. The pig,
The pig.
the money.
What's
I
his name?
can't- Mr. Pig.
Oink. I don't know.
Fact check.
Oink, Oinky Bank or something. No, I don't know.
Guess the name.
Ham.
Yeah.
Yes, I remembered. I did watch it the other day. I
Yeah,
should
sure.
remember.
Got it.
Ham. And like Slinky and good characters. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've still been making. They just made Lightyear a couple of years ago,
Yes.
right?
No, it was this year or last year?
Last year.
That was really recent.
Yeah, and that did okay. But again, even then, that's like updated, but it's continuing the IP.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yes.
think it's for some people. Obviously, Teshy likes it,
I
but
love it.
I think I'd like to see some more original content from Disney because they've made some movies recently, original movies that have been amazing.
Yeah.
Soul,
Mm.
Encanto, which I've seen about 700
I
times
love
because Timmy loves it.
Encanto.
It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, like they're original movies. They
Yeah,
didn't
and
have to
they're great.
like remake a movie they made 50 years ago. They could just make a new movie.
I think as well, though, you have to consider that, like, they're also trying to be more inclusive in what they're making. Like, yes, Encanto, Oh yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah. He's
continue.
gearing up. Encanto is great because it shows another like culture and like way,
Mm.
which I think
Yeah.
I relate to because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like not that my family is the same culture as Encanto. I don't know if they're ever going to do a Sri Lankan family, but like
Maybe.
I just think like just watching the mannerisms of like how even families interact is great.
Mm.
I know I'm not saying that there's no drama when it comes to Disney remakes, aka what is even happening with Snow White because they're doing a Snow White remake and it might even be canned before it even comes out
I did
because of
read about this.
all the drama.
What's happening?
Are you talking about the same thing I'm talking about?
You're talking about the
go
dwarves?
first. Yeah, the dwarves.
And not even just the dwarves.
Oh, something else.
Is it Rachel Ziegler who's like playing Snow White? Apparently, I don't know. Don't fact check me. Maybe I need to get fact checked.
I'll
But like,
fact check you while you're talking.
essentially, she's not the greatest person or
Oh,
like the
right.
nicest person. So people are already having beef about that as well, which I do understand. Like if I think about the Disney remakes that I love, like Lily James, amazing. Emma Watson, amazing. So it's like you think about those
Who's
people
Lily
and you're
James?
just like,
She's in
Lily
Baby
James.
Driver. She's
She's
Who's she?
Cinderella.
Oh, she's Cinderella.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think like people like that, it's like you can actually see like the kind-heartedness of like Disney princesses. You can actually see it in the way that they're acting, but like the people that they like are portraying those characters as well. So I think yes, there's going to be drama if like the people who are playing those characters, you can't see that they actually embody what a Disney princess would be like. Like I can see that. I do know that there's drama with the whole Seven Dwarf situation.
Yeah, so the drama there, to explain to you, because you obviously haven't read about this, they've cast
Not
7 normal people, non-dwarfs.
who aren't like the same. They're all different ethnicities, right?
Yeah, there's like different cultures
But
in
are
there.
they?
They're just regular people that they're then using visual effects to dwarf
So they're going to
size.
dwarf them in
Well, they did it with
VFX.
Hugh Jackman as well.
No, not Hugh Jackman.
They did it.
Hugh Grant
Hugh
for the new Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah.
Right.
They've
And there
got
was stuff
Oompa
about that
Loompas
as
in
well.
there, and it's Hugh Grant.
Right.
And all the actors that are,
Yeah.
I think dwarf's the correct
Yeah.
term. All the actors
Mm.
are like, why didn't you
Jackman.
cast us?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're already dwarfs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you cast a normal sized person?
Yeah.
Hugh Grant's he's quite tall.
We love Hugh Grant though.
Why
no
did
hate.
you-
No hate to Hugh Grant. I love Hugh
Yeah.
Grant.
And the reason they did it is because he's famous.
Yeah.
They just
So,
wanna
like,
he's a great
they need
actor.
his face in there.
Well, he's a great actor.
Yeah,
Not just
that's
he's
what I mean.
famous.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. But in the same vein, like, yes, there was quite a lot of the same culture in the old Disney, like a lot of white in the old Disney, right?
Yeah.
But they made Encanto, which is a new IP, a new movie that introduces culture.
That's one movie though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, can't they do that more rather than going back and just adding culture into the movies that didn't have them originally?
I get that, but I don't know. I think I just have to disagree with this one.
Yeah, fair
because
enough.
like even for me and for my culture, the
Mhm.
closest thing that I was like, oh my gosh, this Disney princess was Princess Jasmine. We are
Sure.
not the same culture. And then obviously Princess and the Frog came out, and again I was just like, oh my gosh, but again it's still not me. So I think little girls watching it,
Yeah.
like they would just be really disheartened because it's just like you're watching a movie and you're like, oh my gosh, like they still love a Disney princess, but seeing someone who looks like them as a Disney princess, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm a princess, like I'm beautiful, I can like do all those things.
Yeah.
I just think it's that. It's like if they have the opportunity when they're doing those remakes to cast someone who's like that, I don't see it as a problem.
Mhm.
My problem is like I would just want them to make sure that they're like,
Solid humans.
yeah, like just
Fair.
if they're going to be a Disney princess, you don't want some kid watching the movie, like a random movie, or like seeing stuff in the news, being like, oh my gosh, this person, like, this is who they actually are. It'd be like, oh. Not that I actually know these actors personally. I don't know Emma Watson personally, but I'm sure she's,
No,
the way-
but she,
Yeah.
she's been very vocal about
yeah.
human rights things,
Yeah.
and she's just a good person. It
Yeah.
seems like. Well, that's the brand she
Yeah.
portrays anyway, so it's good.
Just my personal opinion.
No, that's fair. I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
I feel like we're always going to beef about Disney remakes.
No, I don't think we're beefing.
No, I think
we
you're
just
right.
have very different tastes.
And
in
I'm a
what we-
girl, so I can see it in a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
Yeah. And like we talked about, I've seen both Barbie and Oppenheimer, but I prefer Oppenheimer and you prefer Barbie? A, because it relates to you more, and B, you also enjoy that type of movie, right?
Yes.
Over Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Whereas I love Oppenheimer, I love Christopher Nolan, I love that cinematic, like over the top masterpiece that he made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Barbie isn't a masterpiece. It's just not something that I would go to over Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
You know?
I think maybe on a deeper level, I understand representation in movies and why people feel like that's important. But when I watch a movie, I never put myself, I don't think I ever put myself in the movie. And maybe this is just like something that I do, but I don't ever watch, and I think it would be different with like little girls watching Disney princesses, because you would like imagine yourself in that role.
Yeah.
But like I don't watch Aladdin and imagine myself as Aladdin.
Yeah. No,
Do you know what I mean?
I'm,
I'm just like watching it from an outside perspective going, oh, this is a cool story.
Yeah, I don't know if that's.
I don't know if it's a girl boy thing though, or if it's like.
But I definitely haven't done that as well.
But I still am in your camp. I still understand why representation is important.
Yeah. I think it's like how we girls used to dress up as like, or boy, look, whatever, like dress up as like princesses, like you can do that. Whereas boys, I remember my brother had like all these Spider-Man things. Like he had like the little web gun thing and he'd be like, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, sure. That's a good point, actually.
So it's just like, it's different. Like you dress up as Disney, you dress up as whatever. But I think it's not myself as much. Yes, I do imagine myself. I mean, now, sure, I still do. As like a Disney princess. But I also think it was just like the magic that Disney created. It went further than just like, I'm that princess. It's like, I believe in true love because of Disney. Like it created so much more than just like, oh, cool, this person's on a flying carpet. Yeah. It's like, it's a magic carpet. And it like, I don't know, it's just like those little things that it's just like, you just get so much more out of the movie than just a movie.
I agree. Disney's pretty magical.
Yeah. No.
If you ever get the opportunity to go to Disneyland, go to Disneyland.
Yeah, we'll have to go sometime.
Paris, Disneyland.
I've never been. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Disney. Like, I love lots of their films. Big fan of Mulan. That's one of my all-time faves.
They did a remake for that too.
Yeah.
Have you seen the remake?
No.
Pretty average. Doesn't even have Mushu in it.
It doesn't? I haven't seen that
Not
one
looking
yet.
forward to that then.
No.
Yeah, but I love that. Jungle Book. Like, I haven't seen the remake of Jungle Book either. That's a disclosure statement.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah. Love it. I had something I want to go.
A game.
I want to go into, yes, for both of you.
Yay.
You ready?
So
bring it on.
Ready to beat you.
these Disney remakes have obviously happened some 20, 30 years later, in most cases. And what we're going to compare, or what you're going to try and do, is guess how much the budget and box office performance was for the remakes compared to the originals.
Okay.
I'll give you the originals. For those playing at home, budget is how much they spent to make the movie. Box office is how much money it's made in the cinema.
Yeah, like global box office.
After release,
ticket sales and stuff.
But like how late is the box office statistic?
Current. It's like
It's
Michael
current.
just
Like,
looked it up.
I just looked it up, so all the numbers
it
are
kind of plateaus.
they are rough. I have like rounded down some decimal points just because it makes it a bit easier. But we'll start with The Lion King, which came out in 1994, the original. The budget.
That was so long
I'll give
ago.
you the budgets for the originals and the box office for the originals, and then you can guess the new one. So the budget was $45 million USD.
For the original one.
For the
back in
original?
1994.
The
So
animated one.
Yep.
That's expensive.
Yep. And then the box office for that, roughly to today, is $968 million USD. So they made their money back.
Okay, so we've got to guess the budget.
So The Lion King that came out in 2019, directed by Jon Favreau.
Yeah. Favreau. Iron Man.
First of all, budget. What do you think the budget was for that?
45 million for the first one.
Okay, so to put it as a disclaimer, I didn't watch it until just recently, but I had for a long time not seen the original Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw the new one before I saw the first one.
Oh, what do you think?
Why did you never watch it?
I don't know. I just never.
As a kid? I feel
Maybe
like
I
my
did,
mum.
but just didn't remember. But
My mum says that apparently me and my brother were like obsessed with that movie,
yeah,
and you
I
never
don't know.
watched it.
But
And
that's
we're
just a
similar in
disclaimer.
age.
All
Interesting.
right, what's your thoughts then on seeing? Did you prefer one over the other?
I think honestly, I know a lot of people didn't like the new one. I was kind of a fan of it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty impressive, just how good it looked.
Mm.
I know, like, it was a bit weird. Like, talking animals is always kind of a bit weird. There's that uncanny valley thing where you're like, the animals don't really talk, so it sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm gonna guess. I think the budget was $250 million,
Mm-hmm.
and then they made. I'm trying to. What's the biggest selling box office? Like 1 point something, 2 billion or something.
I think it's well into 2.
Okay.
If not more.
Okay, I'm gonna guess $1.2 billion they made.
Okay.
They're my guesses.
So 250 and then 1.2
Yeah.
bill.
I'm not a film
Teshy.
buff, so I don't even know what numbers are. I'm gonna
fair,
go.
that's fair.
Well, $1.
No, as in like I don't know like what is.
But
an
you got context from
appropriate-
the first one, right? So
yeah, 45. That even still shocked me to this day.
so guess I.
45 million. I'm gonna go.
That's just drawings.
Yeah, I know. But to be fair, someone would have had to draw like every scene. That is a lot.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
Yeah, it's
And it's a
impressive.
But
lot
45
it's
million.
not just one person too. It would have been
A
lots
whole
of people.
team.
That's why it's.
Yeah.
And it
more
would have taken
money.
so long.
Yeah.
How long do they take to make? Anyway, that's another thing.
Next week's quiz. How long does it take to make an animated movie?
I want to say. I have no idea. I'm gonna go 320
For
million
the budget.
for the budget.
Mm-hmm.
For box office, I'm gonna go 900 was the
968 million
Dang.
original.
but was Lion King that raved about? I might go 1 billion.
1 billion.
Bill.
So, budget for the new Lion King. You were closest. It sits between 250 to 260. And then the box office is roughly $1.6 billion.
Oh,
So Padre was closest, being just above.
Wow.
But
1.6
there.
billion.
for reference, the highest grossing as of, just basing this on a quick Wikipedia search, and we all know how great that
Avatar.
source is.
2.
Avatar, the original,
Still
still
highest grossing.
$2.9 billion.
Holy
box office.
moly.
Ever?
No wonder they let him make another one and take 12 years.
Did they make 6 of them?
He's making more.
No,
of them,
Avatar.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
making more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're making 6 of them.
I don't know.
I
Jeez.
think it's like,
think
it's
it's 6.
a lot.
Wow.
For reference, Avatar, the second one, The Way of Water, just came out, last year? $2.3 billion.
Whoa, already.
And it's number 3 worldwide,
Wow.
What?
highest grossing. Not including, I know we should, disclaimer, not including like interest or whatever it is when it comes to over time, because
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Gone
yeah,
with the
yeah.
Wind is like takes it with no chance. Inflation.
Inflation, yeah.
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 Interesting.
And you got to imagine like 45 million
Mm.
to then 900 million
Mm.
is 18 times their budget. But I think the gap between modern movies, how much they spend and how much they made is shorter.
Yeah, it is.
Like 250 million and then $1 billion is only 5 times.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
times the amount, but they spent
That's true.
45 million to make the original Lion King and then made $900 million. I mean, now,
Yeah.
like it's
Mm.
been 50 years or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So moving on, Aladdin. The original came out in 1992. Budget $28 million. Box office
Cheap. Cheapskates.
definitely.
Whoa.
They did well. Did well for 28 million. Box office was 504 million USD.
Checks out.
So the latest remake of Aladdin, or the only remake of Aladdin, 2019. What do you think the budget was in the box office?
I remember this being an expensive movie. I think I read that was expensive. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll
Gives you
go
a bit
first.
of frame of reference. Okay, you go.
Expensive. I'm going.
That's a good answer.
Damn, she got me.
Maybe. I don't know what expensive means. 3. I'm still going 330
Mm-hmm.
million. I loved Aladdin. I watched it in the movie.
Yeah.
I want to go 1.3 billion.
Okay.
I loved it. I would have watched it.
Do you like the new one?
Yeah.
I like the new
I'll
one. too.
sing. No, I won't sing.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, I'm gonna say 285 million, and then they made 1.5 bazillion, just billion.
So you're both high.
Oh, too high.
Yeah. Budget was
I thought.
183 million.
Oh,
Padraig,
Still
you
a-
said expensive.
I
Still
thought-
expensive.
I was
let's be
shooting my
honest.
That's
shot. Wow,
Um,
why have they gone cheap with Aladdin in the original
thought that
and the
was-
second?
I thought that was really expensive because of all the work they did on Will Smith's like genie body.
On his genie body, painting him blue.
He was like,
He was
it's like
jacked.
yeah, they made him Jack. How much protein powder cost?
Yeah. No, 1.83.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. 183.
okay, well, and then what they make?
1 billion. Just over 1 billion.
Oh,
Were you closer?
No, you were.
Oh,
You said
yeah.
1.2 or
10,
1.3.
10
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
Mm.
or 5 times, 6 times. Something.
I would be accredited to like 100 of those dollars.
Wow.
Okay, so it's 1-1
Yeah.
tiebreaker.
Yeah. Last, but certainly not least, and it's very topical, The Little Mermaid.
Part of your world.
A little taste for everyone at home.
I still haven't watched
I
it. I'm
can't sing
excited.
either.
September
Original
6th.
budget, $40 million.
Okay,
Bit more than Aladdin, a little less than The Lion King. Box office, 235 million.
ooh, that's not very good.
What do you think
That sucks.
the latest one
loved
is? Now,
it.
the latest
So
one
stressed. It hasn't been out for that long.
hasn't been out for that long, so remember that. And the others have been out for like 3-4 years, the remakes.
Okay. I reckon it has to sit close to Aladdin levels of budget
Mm.
because I don't think Disney would do it otherwise. So I'm gonna say 200 million budget because it hasn't been out for very long. 850 million total box office.
So you said 200, then 850, is that right?
Yeah, which even sounds too high to be honest, but that's okay. I'll stick with that.
I think more because they had to like mimic it being underwater, plus the whole shipwreck scene and the
True.
storm.
I did forget that it was an underwater movie.
Yeah, that's something that we take for granted, like how much it to fake underwater.
Yeah.
To film it for real underwater is also a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Faking it is expensive.
So I'm gonna go 280 million,
Okay.
and I think box office. I'm gonna shoot my shot and just go 940 million so far.
So far.
Just wait until it comes out on Disney Plus.
I'm going to read the release dates as well, just so we have a bit more for The Little Mermaid, the recent one. So it
Yeah.
was released in the United States in May, on May 26th, and I think everywhere else around that time as well. So
It's
that's
only
only
like
been
3 months almost.
yeah,
So
3-4 months. All right, budget. Teshy was closest.
Damn.
250.
Yeah.
I think it's like 250 to 260 again.
Mm-hmm.
Million. Box office. Hardrake was closest,
Oh.
but very high still. 567.
Oh, so I wasn't even that close. I thought it was too high.
It's not quite there yet. But
It's,
these
it's only
numbers,
been out for 3 months.
Yeah.
I feel like these numbers are probably not completely accurate because it is so recent. It's not including maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's even going to come to
It is coming
DVD
to-
and
oh.
Blu-ray
Won't be
Aren't
coming
they
to
not doing
DVD.
that?
Won't be coming to DVD in Australia.
because of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the last one, right?
Yeah.
But
Wait,
yes,
so then it's a tie.
it is a tie. Do
Tie.
I need to
Time to dance battle it.
Dance do I need to pick another one?
Let's just guess the. What's another movie that came out?
How about? Oh, I just had.
Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Let's guess whoever's closest to the global box office. Don't worry about the budget. You don't get the. You tell us the budget, and we'll guess the global box office.
Okay. For the remake.
Yeah, for the
Do
remake.
you want to know the
with
original or not?
Emma
Really?
Watson. Nah, I don't care about the original.
Yeah, that's
Probably
fair.
high.
That's fair. So this came out in 2017. The one with Emma Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Budget. This is a bad figure.
And
because-
Obi-Wan's in it.
Is he?
He's the candlestick.
Okay. So this is a bad budget
La
because it's such
fla-
a wide.
That was the candlestick. What's the candlestick?
I want you to continue what you were going to do.
I was going to say Lafayette, but I don't think that's it, eh?
It's something French.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Not Lafayette.
It's
but-
like Lumiere.
Oh,
Lumiere.
Lumiere. Who's Lafayette? Oh, he's from Hamilton. Lafayette.
they're still singing that, so.
So the budget is a bit of a skewed number because I don't think maybe they weren't completely honest with
Maybe
this
tax
figure.
evasion. Oh no, it's Barbie all over
Oh.
again.
What? I think you get done for tax evasion.
No.
The creator of Barbie.
Ruth, little Ruthie.
She had done for tax
She
evasion.
went to jail at some point.
That's why she had to give up her ownership of. It's a whole thing. You learn about it in the Barbie movie if you would watch it.
In the movie, it talks about
It's
this.
like
They have
play
a
on
joke
it
about
little
it.
bit.
Oh, the creator of Barbie.
Yeah, like
I thought you meant the director of the movie.
no,
No.
Oh, I was like,
not
oh
Greta.
no, she just got off this
No.
fame. Oh, bummer.
All right,
Greta,
budget.
not Greta. Greta would never tax evade.
You're such a Greta fan.
A little bit. Beauty and the Beast, 2017, 160 to 250 million.
What?
Okay.
For all of the dancing furniture?
So some.
I love how that's
They don't
your
do it in
bar.
real life.
Dancing furniture.
Dancing furniture is expensive.
As much as water, would you say?
But imagine if they filmed it on the water. It'd be another 80 million.
There's actually some really cool scenes in that film from memory.
Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast?
Like the
Yeah, it's
remakes,
sick.
some like very cool visuals.
All
in
of
that.
her dress, when her dress was made by the wardrobe, and then like all like little bits of gold and how it fell on the dress. Oh,
Yeah, very good job. Very
perfection.
good to those
Yeah.
artists.
perfection.
Okay,
Box
so
office.
185 to 250.
160 to 250.
Okay, so depending on how many execs pocketed a few
Yeah, it must be.
million.
Must be.
How did they not calculate
don't
that? That's
know.
a massive gap. Anyway, I'm going to say they came out of 2017, so it's been 4 years.
No.
4 years.
Quick math. 6 years.
Where's what's his face where you need him?
Good at math.
We can't say that. We got to redo this a little bit.
No. Okay. I'm going to say 1.4 billion dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna do 1.2.
Oh,
He's
playing who's
close.
closest, I see.
Yeah.
It was a
Going
great
high or low.
film.
1.2 is correct.
Oh.
Yeah, stuck with my gut.
266 to be exact.
Perfect.
Well done.
Winner. It feels good to win a Disney challenge, I must say.
Yeah, I'm
Well done.
surprised that it was so close. 'Cause you should have taken
I
it.
just don't know numbers.
That's true.
Yeah,
This
true.
is like
I didn't
Numbers.
do
It's
math.
production, it's like
film.
half production,
Yeah.
half
This is very much
popularity.
film buff.
Yeah,
knowledge,
exactly.
Not someone that appreciates the film.
Not someone who lives and breathes Disney.
Yeah.
That's you.
There you go. That's a fun little game for you. But yes, they make a lot of money off these remakes. That's probably one of the reasons they're going to keep making them.
Perfect. I'm so excited.
Tashy's on board.
We might have a Snow White. We may not. Who
I reckon they're
knows?
going to can it.
I reckon they'll just like Disney.
Recast
Or do it
it.
straight to Disney Plus.
I don't think that saves anything. That just saves them a bit of money on the advertising and the
I just don't think they're going to do it.
I think it's just Disney is the type of company that would just send it as is, or they're going to can it all together.
But it's like,
It's like
I
no
just don't
middle.
understand how they're going to go ahead with all this. But it's whatever. You know what I mean? I'll write them a letter later.
It's not the first time someone has been cast in a role when it doesn't make any sense and it should have been someone else altogether.
True.
But-
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do.
I don't know.
Hopefully the best happens because I feel bad for everyone that just got axed out of the job if they picked regular
Yeah.
height people, average height people.
For a
play
movie that has the 7 dwarves in
Snow
the
Yeah.
White
title.
and the 7
I'm sure they're
dwarves.
great actors.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not
for
taking
sure.
anything
I'm just
away from
saying,
them.
Nothing to do with
like,
them.
It's a bit tough because it's like that was the whole concept of the movie. Like, she's a whole person, and she's like going into this house, and it's these 7 dwarves. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
just
it's silly. I do think it's been done very dodgily in the past.
Mm.
Even in video games, you remember Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
and they just took models of adults and shrunk them down to like half the size and said that was a child. And then if you looked close enough,
They had,
it
like,
just looked,
beards.
there was like little people, little men and women walking around, adults.
And I'll tell you from
kid-sized
experience, small kids do not look like small adults. Okay. It's been a good episode so far. It's been fun. It's fun.
Not done yet.
Moving on to patch notes is our final segment.
We should have asked Teshy to bring a patch.
Did you bring a patch note?
No?
You can think of one while we.
Yeah. I'll do a
carry on.
quick explanation. So someone asked me during the week, what is a patch note?
Mm.
And that's a good question. We use it as a segment where we just bring something new. But a patch note in itself is when a piece of software gets an update, the developers will send out a patch note, which essentially is just a note that explains what that update had in it. So what
Anything-
changes have been made,
Anything new,
new
that has in it, right?
bug fixes, etc., etc. So when we say it's patch notes time, which we often say, it's just us bringing something that we saw during the week or that we just thought of before the show because we forgot to think about it during the week, and it's showing it to you guys so that you're aware of it, and
Yeah, something new
Something
for
new.
your feeds.
it's like an update. So we'll share ours, and Teshy, if you have one, if you can think of one, you can share yours, but if you don't stress. I'm happy to start.
Yep.
So I saw during the week Adam Savage from Mythbusters fame. He now does YouTube.
Yeah.
Adam Savage is Tested. He's got a channel called Tested. And this week they started a series. I assume it's a series because I haven't finished the project, but they've partnered with Bethesda. I'm a bit Starfield, kind of.
I don't blame
I
you.
think
It's
just like
less
say
than-
the word.
It's less than a
Bethesda.
month away.
A bit Starfield addicted at the moment, but they partnered with Bethesda and they are building a filming replica model, I think 1/76th scale of the Foundation, like the main spaceship that you have it when you first start the game.
Wow.
And they've gone through the whole process. So like usually most of Adam's videos on Tested is like 1 day builds where he'll like go through, pick a project and he'll spend the day building it. And it's like not for everyone, the videos, like they're not super engaging, but if you're interested in like industrial design and crafting stuff, it's kind of cool. But he'll just like spend the like 50 minutes of the video just like building something. It's like a sword from a game or a gun prop or something. But this one they've done a bit differently because he's got his whole team of people from Tested. There's like a 3D printing expert, and then there's like a modeling painting expert, and then like an electronics expert. And they all kind of have come together to build this ship and put it on a pole and then like use it as a prop to film stuff with. So I've only released one video so far, and it's just the 3D printing aspect of it. But it was really interesting. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
I think
link it in the show notes.
I think it's worth mentioning that Adam Savage has like been around
Oh yeah,
in the industry, film industry, and
made props
everything.
for Star Wars.
He's built miniatures for Star Wars and all sorts of other games.
Yeah.
Films.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's great. Great.
Yeah, a legend. I mean, yeah, Mythbusters is like what he's probably most well known
Yeah,
for,
of
but
course, yeah.
he worked at ILM for years,
Yeah.
and yeah, so
Speaking of ILM, my patch note. So, Industrial Light and Magic (ILM) is or was founded by George Lucas
yeah, I think
for Star Wars. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So ILM is the production company and VFX house, or just creative mind behind all the VFX and things and special effects that go into Star Wars as well as other things.
Yep.
They've been making The Mandalorian for the last few years on Disney Plus, and they released some behind the scenes footage of the VFX breakdowns.
Cool.
I've seen it this week, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's only come out this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got all these different breakdowns just showing what the shot looks like, and then it's sort of in motion will just cut away layers of it and show you how it's composited. You know, that there's a blue screen behind most of these sets, or it's a LED wall or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
And it's just very interesting to see those breakdowns. So it's
Cool.
great when they, you know, pull back the curtain a bit and show you how
Yeah, I love
things
that stuff. I love
how things are
seeing
sort of
how
done,
stuff's
yeah.
made.
Mm.
It's like unpacking the recipe, you know?
Yeah.
You don't
It
just get the cake, you get the recipe too.
Yeah. I think I was messaging you about this, but watching Mandalorian season 1 recently, just trying to get through it so I can get through 3 because I haven't even finished that.
Yeah.
Seeing some of them, I want to say they're matte paintings, but I don't know if they are. But I was like, this seems like it would be really fun to try and make in, say, After Effects, just matte paintings with maybe some different layering perspective to create the motion.
I don't know I think they use Unreal. I think they use Unreal a lot in there, and they use that that big LED wall thing that like tracks the camera movements and matches the perspective and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Even matte paintings in themselves. Do you know what a matte painting is?
Nope.
So in back in the day, before visual effects on computers were really possible, instead of they couldn't do locations like Star Wars, right? Like, because that just didn't exist. So instead of, they didn't have computers when Star Wars existed that could do visual effects to that level. So they would have an artist like paint the city, like the background of that shot, which is like the city, the Star Wars city, painted all the details of like the people, the lights all over the city. And then when they filmed, they would put that in front of the camera, like in a specific position. Like the painting was painted in such a way that the angle of the camera and the painting would match. And they would paint on a clear acrylic, and then they would shoot through the clear acrylic. All the bits that weren't painted was where the actors would be. So like if it was a high up shot of like people on like a runway, the rest of the scene is probably just like, you know, like just the ground or whatever. But they would put a clear acrylic and they would paint the rest of like the Star Wars aesthetic.
That's cool.
But they don't really do that anymore. Well, not practically. They do it digitally.
Yeah.
But they're still matte paintings.
Yeah, there's different ways to do it. And it's quite interesting when it comes to perspective. Like they have to be super detailed and be like, the shot is from this angle. So the buildings need to look like this so that the actor can walk in or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very cool. I was just thinking about how could I do something that was in there without jumping into Unreal Engine, which is something that I would like to do.
Yeah.
Especially more recently, seeing a few other people get behind it and like just trying it out. I want to dive in.
Because you're sending me stuff from Ash Thorpe this week of him just experimenting in it, and looks really cool.
It's incredible. So,
but it'd be cool to talk about that a little bit more on the podcast too once we've had time to jump in and experiment with it.
Over to you, Teshy. Do you have a patch note?
I have no patch notes.
No patch notes.
That's fair.
My world is very
Last
different.
No worries. That's fine.
I
Doesn't
live
have to
in
be.
a fashion world.
Yeah, it can be fashion.
give us a
Doesn't have-
fashion thing.
I don't know. I haven't.
What's going on in the
No?
fashion world
I
this
just think
week?
it's just new season time, so I'm excited because I love seeing. I work in like the Strand, so like even just walking past and seeing all of, like the designers, new season pieces. It's been really pleasing to me. I really enjoy it. Suits are in, guys.
Yeah.
Neutrals are back in. I know for a long time we're doing pink was a big thing, but I don't know if pink was just like a Barbie thing as well. But pink was really in. But yeah, it's been fun. I love my job.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm glad.
Yeah, patch notes doesn't have to be necessarily techie or anything. It's just
No, it doesn't. It's just they're the things that we're interested in. All right. Well, thanks for listening. This podcast has been recorded at Pyrmont Studios. Our Creatively Random theme music was beautifully crafted by Scott Baker. And you can get in touch or follow us on Instagram at Creatively Random. So it's creatively, spelled normally, and then RNDM, no vowels. Or you can go to creativelyrandom.com, which is just normally, and send us a message to be a part of the show. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye.